Hello and welcome. Today we continue our miracle journey in Dark Souls 2. Our run through Dark Souls 1 was interesting. Let's see if Dark Souls 2 can improve this in any way. We create a new beard. Was that the joke I was making? And head out into the lands of Drang Lake. We pop through and grab an Estus shard in Majula before heading into Hyde's tower. Our normal first stop would be Forest of Fallen Giants, but we have an immediate problem we have to resolve. Much like Dark Souls 1, no character class starts with an offensive miracle, so we need to resolve that. However, unlike Dark Souls 1, we don't actually have to deal any damage to resolve this problem. By not raising the platform and heading into Dragon Rider's arena, we can kill this boss non-violently. By waiting for a particular cue, we can roll past and heal. By waiting for him to reach a certain stone on the ground and running past, we can get the boss to fall to its death. Victory is ours, and the challenge is still intact. Here, we can talk to Lycia, who will sell us Lightning Spear, our first offensive miracle. I also picked up Force because it was surprisingly useful in Dark Souls 1. Except we don't actually have enough faith to cast Lightning Spear, even after leveling up faith as much as we can. So, time for some shenanigans. By equipping a shield and hiding in this little nook, we can get the nearby knights to fall to their deaths. Not the most interesting or honorable path, but hey, it works. Back to the Emerald Herald, and we get Lightning Spear. 3 casts? What happened to 10? Okay, so damage is still going to be a big problem. Also, got distracted on my way into Forest of Fallen Giants and forgot this door can actually close behind you. I don't have the spells to fight my way through this area, so I must run as fast as my little legs will carry me. Nice that Force can trigger the fire trap and open the shortcut though. Too bad Force seems to have had its effective area nerfed since Dark Souls 1. Map Boy gives me a key to the mansion, which unlocks the basement. Then use souls to buy the blacksmith key and some amber herbs. These give us a way to restore spell casts without needing to rest in a bonfire. Very useful. And the blacksmith upgrades our chime to +2. I can then head past the Dragon Rider fight into No Man's War. The boss and area are too strong for me, but by running through, I can get our second miracle, Emit Force. And while I'm here, I ring the bell to summon the boat since I'm already in the area. Setup done, it's time for us to fight our first boss. And for that, we hop back into the Forest of Fallen Giants. The last giant, which doesn't actually work out. I mean, the fight is easy, it's Last Giant, but I only have 2 different offensive spells with 5 casts between them. So even exhausting all my spells only takes out half of his health. So we need to do some more work. Quit out and reload to leave the fight. Hello sir, how did you get there? Fun fact, that always happens when you quit out in the boss fight, which is very funny. Didn't really plan on killing Seltora Man, but I need to grind, so I need souls, so I need your clothes. With some additional Titanite and souls, I can upgrade my chime to +4. Then I get invaded. I prepare for death, both because I have few spells and they aren't that strong yet, and then they wave and say hello, and then drop endgame weapons, endgame armor, and a frankly unreasonable number of soul consumables. I don't know what it is with these runs. I've only been invaded twice, but both invasions have been very confusing. And the invader actually almost kills me by accident because I'm so weak before they roll to their death. Now, obviously I can't use the armor or weapons, but the souls could be useful, and I'd feel bad not using them. But I fight the urge to do so this easily. I decide I will use them sparingly where needed to afford something when the only alternative is grinding. And spoiler, the vast majority of the souls will remain untouched. I hop back to Melentia to buy some more amber herbs because despite the upgrade, I can't kill the first boss in the game. Miracles, oof. Time for some more weird pathing. I use a fragrant branch to free Rosabeth from petrification to access the shaded wood. Don't mind me, Rosabeth. meant to do it. Here, I can grab a Chloranthy Ring +1 to improve my stamina regen, which is neat. And then grab armor to... I forgot I need a second branch. Okay, back to the things betwixt to grab some free amber herbs. Then go fight the Pursuer. This fight is mostly fine. Amber herbs take forever to use, and my damage still needs some work, but the fight is fine. It takes both amber herbs and some life gems, but otherwise things go as expected. Then it's time to head back to the wharf to catch my ship. Flexile's entry is pretty easy. My damage is pretty good, even if my number of casts still isn't. Takes a lot of rolling, and another amber herb, but Flexile goes down. Bribe my miracle teacher to access the extra credit of the Huntsman's Copse. Kill Hexboy here because he is rude to me. And fun fact, he actually takes less damage while sitting down than while standing. Anyway, the actual reason I killed him is because his hood improves the number of miracles I can cast. Back to the Bastille again, where I use my one new additional cast of spells to get access to Better Blacksmith. Buying some large Titanite, combined with what I already have, means I can get my charm up to +6. Then, open the chest to get some goodies, including another Yore branch, and kill the Pursuer that spawns when you do that. It's finally time to head back to the Shaded Woods to get the Lion Mage armor. This boosts my casting speed. I then grab the Drang Lake shield. It has 100% physical block. I don't have the strength to use it quite yet, and spoiler, I never will. Ooh, 2 more amber herbs. Back to the Huntsman's Copse and do some runs to try to grab the Token of Fidelity. It takes more tries than I'd like to admit, and Force ends up being less helpful than I'd hoped. But I do finally succeed. My next goal is past the dragon and the boss beyond in Hyde's Tower, and it's kind of a mess. My damage is good, but my cast count is really bad. I try to run past everything to get to the dragon, but that just means I reach the boss and get swarmed by his ads. I take a brief trip back to the Bastille to gather some items while I think about it. And after grabbing another Estus shard, the answer becomes obvious. Our old friend the Nook. Because enemies in this area have aggro ranges that are probably longer than they should be, I can actually get literally all the enemies to come over here to fall to their deaths. This then lets me easily kill the dragon with my miracles, and then into the last dragon slayer. I have to use an amber herb, but otherwise the fight's pretty uneventful. Having the Token of Fidelity lets me join the Blue Guardians. This means I can buy another Emit Force, a Heavenly Thunder, and a Bolt Stone. I take the latter back to Better Blacksmith, and he enhances my charm's lightning damage. Back to the Bastille, as it's time to take out the Ruined Sentinels. The range of my spells gives me a huge advantage. I still don't think I have enough spell cast to get me through, but I have some amber herbs that should let me top off if I need to. I do have to be careful about their shields, as hitting them when their shields are up greatly reduces my damage. And Heavenly Thunder should be good, but the Bolt Spread is really bad and decides it's not going to behave in this fight. I have a feeling that's going to be a large enemies only sort of spell. Past the Ruined Sentinels is another Pursuer. Killing this one nets me the Priest Chime. This is a huge boost. I immediately take it to Better Blacksmith to upgrade it to +6, and make it a Bolt Chime. Now my deeps have gotten large. There is a fragrant branch I want in No Man's Wharf, and I spend honestly longer than I should have trying to find it before just looking at a map to find the room in question. That branch lets me unpetrify Strayed. He's not that useful to me yet, but I will want something from him later. Although he does have Rouge Water, another spell restoring item that I definitely remembered existing. Take an elevator, light some braziers, and it's lost Sinner time, which is fine. My cast speed is still lacking, even with the Lion Mage armor and the ring that increases cast speed. Wait, where did I pick up the ring that increases cast speed? Oh well, Sinner dies. Back to Majula, and I get my faith up to the soft cap of 50, so now I can start buffing my vigor and endurance. And it's time for my required Murder of Chariot, which is fine. Because it's funny, I decide to use the cheese strat, By dealing enough range damage while he's going around, Chariot will fail to clear the jump at the end of the arena and just sort of hang there. How you doing, buddy? You need some help? Time to go through the Huntsman's Copse proper so I can do the required fight at the end. I do get invaded by a Forlorn, and the fight is real bad. My damage against him is absolute trash, so I just run around picking up items while he chases me. I do grab an Estus Shard and a Bone Dust. The cliffs on the way to the boss actually prove to be one of the few places Force is useful in this game. Then it's into the Skeleton Lord's fight, which is also fine. My range and damage are good, and they deal a shockingly small amount of damage even when they do hit me. I do have to use a Rouge Water to get my spells back, mostly because Heavenly Thunder refused to hit anything I wanted it to. Seriously, the spread on this spell is so terrible. Into Earthen Peak, and we chat with Cloanne. Eventually her shop will expand considerably, but at least for now I can buy regular Titanite to upgrade my armor. The difference isn't huge, but every little bit helps. Oh shoot, the hood takes Twinkling Titanite. I did not mean to spend those here. Well, back to Earthen Peak, and I grab some materials and rush to the Covetous Demon. This fight is boring, but also uneventful. I'd hoped Covetous would be a good showcase of Heavenly Thunder due to its size, but it must be lightning resistant because the damage is fine, but not great. Did some upgrading to get my chime to +7 and my armor to +6, other than the hood. Further into the windmill towards Mitha, and my damage is still very good. I don't have as many casts as I'd like, but I can nearly one-shot most enemies. Light the windmill for the boss ahead. This area is mostly not notable. Enemies aren't too numerous, and my damage is so good as to be rude. Into the Mitha fight, and yeah, she can't really do anything when you have ranged attacks that deal good damage. It actually takes less time than Covetous because I'm not trying to make Heavenly Thunder work. Then my second least favorite area, Iron Keep. Fortunately, I can actually kill the weaker Elan Knights in a single lightning spear. Too bad I only have 3 of them. Kill the 2 scripted invaders because despite not having enough offensive spells, turns out pushing them into lava is very, very effective. Make enough progress to drop the left half of the bridge, and it's time for my patented run strat. It seems to be about 50% effective, but 50% is better than 0%. And it's definitely better than killing every knight on the way to Smelter, especially with the limited casts I have. And the Smelter Demon is fine. His moveset isn't too bad to dodge, and Heavenly Thunder mostly behaves to deal pretty good damage against him. My Lightning Spears and Emit Force are more than enough to take out his remaining HP. I immediately head back down the stairs to fight the pursuer that spawns, for some reason. I don't actually know. The Ring of Blades it's dropped can be useful when using a weapon, but I am not. So then it's time to full tilt run through the second half, which goes great. Pay no attention to me falling in the lava. That didn't happen. But seriously, the run up in the first half of the keep is such a nightmare, then the second half is actually quite easy as long as you know where you're going. And it's the old Iron King's turn to face lightning. And it's very easy. Damage is good, and my cast speed has only been improving throughout the game. I consider using Heavenly Thunder, but it's just not worth the chance of it missing. Emit Force and Lightning Spear are more than sufficient. Back to the Shaded Wood, and it's a very quick run to Najka, another boss barely worth noting. She is big, like Covetous, but not nearly so beefy, so Heavenly Thunder does some great work against her. Even without that, this fight is always a bit of a joke. I always forget how funny it is to be hit by the Gurm's thrown axe attack in the Gates of Ferris. That axe is chunky. Spider, please. The congregation may not be big, but they are many, and Heavenly Thunder does some good work against the many, many targets in this arena. Another forgettable boss down. Never realized they drop a Titanite slab. That's a good drop to get, actually. Into the Freya fight. Use a torch to keep the spiders at bay, and the heads are actually kind of difficult to hit with my spells. And Heavenly Thunder does nothing, regardless of where it hits. I have to be more patient in this fight than I am accustomed to, but that's fine. Even if I needed them, I have plenty of magic restoring items at this point. With the cat ring, we make our way down into the well successfully. Cough. Into the Royal Rat Vanguard. Heavenly Thunder does do its best to miss as much as possible, but there's simply too many rats in the arena. The fight is otherwise as easy as ever. Keep dropping down until we arrive at the gutter. With a brief stop to grab a sublime bone dust, and we arrive at Blight Town, but darker. Fortunately, I have learned the quick way through here. Just follow this path over here, drop down here, and jump across here, and up this ladder. This saves 15 minutes of wandering through the dark. You are welcome. Then we arrive in the poisoniest of poison zones, the place where they put all the poison. I don't remember what items are here or what all there is to explore because I just run. Always run. This place sucks. It is, however, blessedly brief. Rotten is bulky, but he's also big and not resistant to lightning, so Heavenly Thunder is given another opportunity to shine. We love when Heavenly Thunder behaves. Then, Aldi erupts our quest to pontificate on the nature of man and the dark, and sow doubt into our mind. That's fine though, we're dedicated to whatever it is we're trying to accomplish here. With 4 great souls, we head through the Shrine of Winter. Briefly pop into the Frozen DLC that we don't even have the key for, because I hit the wrong button. And we arrive at the decrepit, but not abandoned, Drang Lake Castle. Chat with our level up waifu to get some exposition that we ignore. Open the gates and head in to talk to the Chancellor. In theory, he sells a great miracle if we get up to New Game++, but bonfire aesthetics don't count, so we will not be doing that. He does sell Great Magic Barrier and Wilted Dusk Herbs to restore casts, so we buy a bunch of those. We grab another Bone Dust and reach the first bonfire, and it's already time to head back to Majula. By reaching the first bonfire in Drang Lake Castle, we have unlocked our Miracle Teacher's ability to sell us infinite lightning spears. We buy, frankly, more than we need, but considering how good Lightning Spear is, we can pad out our spells with Lightning Spear. We will now start buffing Attunement, specifically because it increases the number of attunement slots and the number of casts per attunement slot. Back to the castle and through the area until we reach Nishandra. Keep the chat brief because we've been invaded and it's time for the Twin Riders. Neither is particularly durable, their movesets are not interesting, and my spell count and damage have only continued to improve. The fight against Looking Glass Knight goes fine, certainly better than the last 2 challenge runs. It must be resistant to lightning though, so my damage isn't great. But I do still have Rouge Water, and Wilted Dusk Herbs beyond that. But the help it summons isn't very helpful, and I just need to be sure to avoid shooting lightning at its shield. And Heavenly Thunder may be inconsistent, but when it works, it works. You know, every time I reach the Shrine of Amana, I think, this area can't be that bad. Surely my brain is just exaggerating. Dark Souls 2 is good. It's not even that difficult normally. Surely it doesn't include the worst area that exists in any FromSoft game. And every time, I am wrong. This place sucks. The deep water slowing down your movement, the random NPCs who have more poise than they should and attack faster than is reasonable, and oh, hope you brought a ranged weapon because we decided rust mushrooms were a reasonable thing to include. Do you like sorceresses that snipe you with spells from all over the map? We knew you would. What if everything had an aggro range best measured in kilometers? Would that be fun? Seriously, I'm watching back the footage and getting angry by proxy. But don't worry, the final boss is a boring and disappointing climax to this area. It's barely worth considering, and you'd have to actively be trying to get hit by its slow, predictable attacks for a fun shift. Hope you liked Shrine of Amana. It's worse than Super Poison. And do you mind, Aldia? I'm trying to rant about the Shrine of Amana. Yes, I heard, fleeting form, first sin, men assumed fleeting form. I will think about that later. Rant concluded. Aldia's words sink in. What is it that I seek? Why can I not speak it, even here? Even now, so close to the end. I put these thoughts behind me. The crypt awaits. Inside, I push my way through the headstones of the undead, face a scripted invasion, which gets spicier than it should be. I now know not to light the main torch that ticks off all the red phantoms. Find the bonfire here, and I can quickly clear a path to the boss. Velstadt is fine. His lightning resistance isn't notable, and the range I have means I can attack him relatively freely. Even when he does run into range, I remember his moves better this go-around, so I can pretty easily dodge through and around his attacks, and let loose my great supply of lightning spears. This fight ends with little ceremony. Greeted with the broken remains of Vendrick, I gain the King's Ring and speak briefly to the Emerald Herald. Is this all that remains of another king? Another? Velstadt dead, I can buy Greater Lightning Spear from Strayed. Fewer casts than regular, but stronger too. Definitely worth it. I can also buy Titanite Chunks from Cloanne. Combined with the slab I already have, I can finally boost my chime to plus 10. There is a better chime, but honestly I just don't need it. The run to, and through, Aldia's Keep is uneventful. The last phase of the game is very straightforward once you've done it a few times. The Guardian Dragon at the end is not super notable. He's big, and not lightning resistant, so Heavenly Thunder can deal great damage. Even when it's in the air, Lightning Spear has enough range to hit it. Skip the Dragon Harry, as normal, and am confronted once more by Aldia. This world a construction? A facade? What did he mean? What could he mean? I engage with the dragon trials enough to reach the end and rush the ancient dragon. His guards won't enter the arena, so I'm free to talk to and gain the dragon heart. We're near the end now. I take the dragon heart and enter the dream. Time to face the giant lord within. The run-up is one of the coolest segments in the game, and I take a bunch of damage from the fire bombardment. But once I reach the giant lord, he doesn't hit me even a single time. He only has 2 attacks, and they are both very easy to dodge. It's time. Time to head to the kiln. Time to become the true monarch. But something feels wrong. Something clings to the back of my throat. A lie will remain a lie. Is that what we are? Even as I walk this path, it feels familiar. I've made this walk before. Long ago. I walked this road to strike at Gwyn, to relight the flame. Then I found knights, here a watcher and a defender. But they can't stop me. My miracles are strong, my lightning peerless. But what of my faith? When last I walked this path, I lit the flame, hoping another would find a path forward after me. But here I am, again. The throne guardians are dead. Nishandra arrives to take her prize, but she doesn't know. She doesn't realize. The prize is ash. It's a lie. It always was. Could she do harm with it? I doubt it, but still I fight, because that's the point. My miracles are strong, and she is weak. The giant's kinship opens the way to the throne, and no other path is open to me. I will take the throne, but for what? To light the flame? To let it die? It doesn't even matter. The cycle will continue. It can't not. But maybe, another journey? Another path? One more go, and I can set this right. I will wait. I will wait until cinders can be kindled anew.